everybody, what's going on? Here I am back again. I know it's a little late, but just wanted to give a quick look back at UFC 160 and the results and just give you my 2 cents on how everything played out. First of all, I just want to say if you have not seen this, you should go and watch it. Rent it on pay-per-view, whatever. It was a great night of fights, and man, just all around good night, good card. So on the card, we had KJ Noons versus Donald Cerrone, TJ Grant versus Gray Maynard, James Tahuna versus Glover Teixeira, and then the two main eventers featuring Junior Dos Santos taking on Mark Hunt. The first fight off was Donald Cerrone versus KJ Noons. This fight went the distance, all 3 rounds easily for Donald Cerrone. He basically picked KJ apart, beat him with the boxing, beat him with his kickboxing, beat him with his submissions and wrestling. He just came at with everything he had, and just really showed just how incredibly awesome a fighter Cerrone really is, and how dynamic and how difficult he can be as an opponent. Some of you may or may not know, Donald Cerrone trains in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with Greg Jackson and Jackson Submissions, and Greg Jackson, one of the things he's been vocal about how Cerrone, he gets a little wild and doesn't always stick to the game plan. But he, in an interview following the fight, Greg Jackson said he was really happy with Cerrone, really impressed and very proud of him in the way he stuck to the game plan and was able to do everything that they worked on doing and show all the different facets of his MMA game. As for KJ Noons, KJ took a pretty good beating tonight. He hung in there all the way, went the distance, got bloodied up, kept coming. But it was a rough fight for KJ. It was a long fight for KJ. Donald Cerrone is ranked 6th in the UFC's 155-pound division, and this fight really showed why. So for KJ, this is his first fight in the UFC. I'm sure this is going to be a real big learning experience. KJ just experienced firsthand the level of skill that is the UFC and its fighters. Like I said, Donald Cerrone is ranked number 6 in 155 division. So KJ, you've seen how good these guys are, and you got 2 options. You can either step it up or take a step down. Choice is yours. Best of luck to you. TJ Grant versus Gray Maynard. TJ Grant knocked out Gray Maynard in the first round. It was, man, I mean, when they came out, in terms of their style and their approach, they both kind of favored each other. Like, they were very similar. They came out, boxing, and, Gray came in aggressive, TJ came in aggressive, and man, TJ just caught Gray with some good punches, and he just stayed on him, hit him with punches, had him on the ground. Gray trying to stand up. TJ was mixing up, throwing punches and knees, and man, Gray just took a lot of punishment before the ref stepped in. At one point, I remember, me and the people that was around me, watching the fight, we were like yelling, like, "Come on, ref, stop the fight, stop the fight." He took a lot of shots before the ref stepped in. Very impressive for TJ Grant. He actually ended up winning knockout of the night. So congratulations to Mr. Grant getting that extra piece of bonus money. But man, just really showed the other guys in the division that TJ's definitely someone you need to be on the lookout for. So the next fight on the card featured James Tahuna versus Glover Teixeira. This was at 205 pounds. This fight did not go past the first round as well. Glover Teixeira with a very impressive guillotine submission in the first round. And so Glover Teixeira improves his record to 20 straight wins, not having lost a fight since 2005. When Glover Teixeira came out and entered into the cage, his entry music was off of was a song by DMX off of "It's Dark and Hell Is Hot," his first album, and it was the intro theme. It was the very first song on the track. DMX does his whole thing. Yo, that's my man's and enemies, and then it goes into this song. Now, I noticed this because, well, first of all, just about any song by DMX is just a really hard song to come out to when you're about to do a fight. So that just was pretty cool. But the other thing I thought was interesting is that this was the walkout music that Chuck Liddell used to have. Like, when he used to come out, he'd always play DMX intro off of "It's Dark and Hell Is Hot." Now, Glover Teixeira actually trains with John Hackleman, who was the trainer of Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell was there in the audience, present. Matter of fact, he was sitting next to Dana White and Mike Tyson. So I just thought it was interesting. I don't know if he just wanted to come out to something like that, or it was more of a, kind of a homage to Chuck Liddell. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting. Glover Teixeira is just, it was a really good fight for him. Wasted no time, got in there, and it was a good finish. Also added is that this fight, Glover Teixeira won a submission of the night bonus. So congratulations, props to him for getting that little extra bit of change. Glover Teixeira is, man, he's solid. He's solid. He's got a lot of potential, and this is a guy that people have been saying for a long time, like, needed to be in UFC. Like, people have been clamoring. There's always fighters, outside the UFC that build up a little bit of buzz that are, just really awesome, and people, they wonder how these guys will match up against, some of the guys in UFC, and Glover Teixeira is one of them, and he's starting to show why. And I'm excited and can't wait to see what happens next. Who he's going to fight next, and as he gradually moves up in competition, how he's going to rise to the challenge. Next on the fight card, heavyweight fight between Junior Dos Santos and Mark Hunt. This fight actually ended up being fight of the night. Both fighters, Junior Dos Santos and Mark Hunt, got bonuses. These guys put on a real tough fight. I said in my breakdown, this is going to be one of those fights where people are just sitting around, just anticipating and waiting, like, to see who can take the big punch, who's going to land first. And man, Hunt and Dos Santos went back and forth. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. It was a good scrap. Man, Dos Santos really began to use his reach. Just as the fight went on, just had a bit more energy going with him. Hunt stayed in it. Hunt was aggressive. Both these guys were aggressive, but man, the finish began when in the third round, and Junior Dos Santos out of nowhere decides to throw a spinning hook kick. Yes, a spinning hook kick. A spinning hook kick, and landed it. Caught Mark Hunt with it. Hunt went down, and man, Dos Santos, he landed 2 punches, put Hunt to sleep, and that was the fight. I want to say it was towards the end of the third round. And man, hearing Dos Santos talk about the kick afterwards, but he might have worked on it in practice, never really felt comfortable doing it in sparring, certainly never felt comfortable doing it in a real fight, and then something just told him to try it, and he tried it, and man, he landed it. It's funny, in 2 weeks' time, we've seen 2 highlight reel knockouts due to a spinning hook kick. Dos Santos against Mark Hunt, which, by the way, just to add a little bit of trivia, this is the first time Mark Hunt has ever been knocked out in a fight. Ever. In an MMA match, even in his kickboxing career in K1, never been knocked out. We saw, Dos Santos, not finish Hunt with a spinning hook kick, and then the week before we saw Vitor Belfort finish Luke Rockhold with a spinning hook kick. I see things like this, and I think, 1, it's just amazing, and 2, back when Joe Rogan, when he first started commentating for the UFC, and he would just sit up there, comment, and he see guys throw high kicks, and he see guys throw, spinning kicks, and he said, those fancy kicks, they don't work in a real fight, those high kicks, they don't work in a real fight, those spinning kicks, they don't work in a real fight, trust me, I know, I've got a black belt in Taekwondo, I studied it for years, I opened some schools, won some, championships, and here we are. My thought on that has always been that every technique has its place in combat. Every technique has its place, and every technique is effective under the right set of circumstances. Sometimes you have to create those circumstances. Sometimes those circumstances create themselves. But every technique has its place. But very, very impressive finish. Joe Rogan pointed out how even though Dos Santos was clearly ahead on the scorecards, he still chose to go for the finish. He still chose to go for trying to knock out Mark Hunt. Even though that, by trying to go to knock out Hunt, he opened himself up to get knocked out, because Hunt was clearly wait for dude to come in so we could try to counter him. It was a good fight. If you missed it, look for it, find it, on pay-per-view, find somebody who recorded it or something. You know, it's a fight that's definitely worth your time. But great fight. Actually, interesting enough, Dos Santos was going to get the knockout of the night for that. So in addition to the fight of the night bonus, he was also going to get the knockout of the night. But if you could believe this, Mike Tyson, yes, Iron Mike, tattoo on the face, hangover, talk like this. Okay, I'm not making fun of you, Mike. Don't, for real, don't come and beat me up. Mike Tyson actually stepped in, intervened, and I think spoke to Dana White and said that the knockout of the night should go to TJ Grant over Gray Maynard. And and personally, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Dos Santos, he already got the fight of the night bonus. He's already getting paid probably way more than TJ Grant's making. So give that bonus money, which I think is $100,000 to TJ, up and comer. Give him that chunk of change. It was a great fight. If you haven't seen it, watch it, and you won't be disappointed. You'll see why this fight made fight of the night, and you'll see why that knockout is also a very strong candidate for KO of the year. But we'll see how the rest of the year goes on that. Last but not least, certainly, we have Cain Velasquez successfully defending his title against Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Fight did not get out the first round. I don't even think it went past the first minute. Cain, basically both fighters came out, they circled. Cain caught Bigfoot with a two-piece, and that was pretty much it. He caught him with that two-piece. Bigfoot buckled. Cain was able to get on top of him, circled around to his back, held him in the side position, and just drilled him with punches until the ref stopped the fight. Bigfoot complaining it was an early stoppage. Bigfoot's even complaining now that he hit me in the back of the head. They were illegal strikes. Nah, dog, that's not what put you down. What put you down was that two-piece he caught you with earlier, the jab cross. And disappointing fight for Silva. Very impressive fight for Cain. Very impressive fight for Cain. And in the post-fight press conference, it was announced that Dana White, I think he said that, and I'm paraphrasing it, that it's a no-brainer. Cain will be defending his title next against Junior Dos Santos. So the trilogy is on. Who's going to win that fight? Man, at this point, I don't know. Because both these guys have definitely proven that they could take out the other. Junior Dos Santos has proven that he can knock out Cain. Cain's proven he could, go toe-to-toe with Dos Santos. Hell, Cain almost knocked out Dos Santos in the second fight. Very excited to see what happens in this third. That fight's going to make a lot of money. It's going to be very popular when those two heavyweights go on. Two best heavyweights the UFC and MMA has to offer going at it, and it is going to be something, and I look forward to it. But again, that's my 2 cents. It was a great card, really from top to bottom. Again, if you have not seen this, you owe it to yourself. I mean, it's still on pay-per-view. Watch it. It was a good night of fights. But that's my 2 cents. If you agree, disagree, feel some kind of way, leave a comment, like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.